Welcome, welcome, welcome to this edition of Sagionic 1027. We are so glad that you are here today and you've decided to join us. I have a very, very special guest, and yes, tears happened behind the scenes before we began because she is so precious to me, and I'm so eager for people to be able to meet her, experience her, and then come to know her as time moves forward. But before I introduce our special guest, let me tell you a little bit about our program. So the work, and especially helping people to tap into the creative realm. In 2018, I was walking down the hall, and when I was walking down the hall in my home, all of a sudden I heard Sagionic. I'm like, that's interesting. I've never heard that word before. I said, Lord, what's that word? And he even spelled it, Sagionic. So I decided to look it up. And the word Sagionic means movement by movement in time. It's Greek, and I'm Greek, which made it all the more special. So I was like, wow, Lord. So I just hung on to the word. And about a month ago, I was called to a boardroom meeting with the Lord, the creator of the entire universe, and Sagionic 1027 was birthed. Now, here's where it gets even more special. The word Sagion means wisdom carrier. So our desire at Sagionic 1027 is to take minds of people who were filled with integrity and business work ethics. Now, business work ethics is not just for people who are owners of business, but that goes into many different realms and environmental settings. And so, with that in mind, I would now like and have their wisdom insight be squeezed out of them so others can glean from them. So, with that, I would like to introduce everybody to my precious friend, Jenilee Peabody Hardman. So, Jenilee, today is all about you. What would you like to share with our viewers?
Well, um, I have a YouTube channel called The Pioneer Home, and I wanted to talk a little bit about how that came to be, um, and what I really felt inspired to share with that channel and where it all began. It's been about a year and a half since I started the journey, and I'm not really a social media person. Probably people in my generation you'd expect to be all over Instagram and Facebook and all those things. But I feel really comfortable staying in my zone and in my little home and family, and I like it that way, and I love my privacy. But it was, we had a lot of time during COVID, a lot of time at home, and a lot of time to think and to ponder. And I actually really became inspired by a few channels on YouTube, but I was really inspired by ones that made me feel good, ones that were uplifting or beautiful, inspiring, and and I kept having this thought that I should start a YouTube channel, which I thought was silly because why would I do that? And how do you do that? How do you do that? And so that thought kept reoccurring, and I really, I'm of the belief that if a thought keeps coming back to you, then it's probably something that you need to pay attention to. And so I decided, okay, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. And I told my husband, I remember I told him, and he was like, great, do it. Let's do this, and he's so supportive. He thinks I can do it. He thinks I can do anything. Um, and so I bought the programming. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. I did a little bit of research, bought a video editing program, and I tested one Christmas. It was around Christmas, and we had a whole shepherd's night with the kids, and we sat on the floor, and we had a special Bethlehem themed dinner that night with figs and nuts and dried meats, and I just filmed some of it and just kind of got familiar with how that worked, just to see if I was any good. And anyway, I made a first video, and I decided right away that not only do I, on YouTube is a platform where you educate people. Normally, you either inspire, educate, or entertain on YouTube. That's what it's for. And so I decided, well, I need to bring something to the table. So I guess I'll do some educating, but I want to inspire people. I'm just an earthy person. I'm drawn to earthy people. And I like to say like that because I'm just down to earth. What you see is what you get. And I love it when I can rub shoulders with people who are also earthy. There's no facade there. So I wanted to really, I wanted to be me. I wanted to inspire people and really share what was not only what I could do, but what was on my heart as well. I wanted them to walk away feeling good about what they were seeing and feeling uplifted also. Anyway, so I made my first video on my mom's recipe of chicken Dijon stew, and talked about seasonal eating and traditions of cooking with my mom and cooking with my little girl, and sharing that. And yeah, and I think I shared it with family and friends, because really honestly, in the first video, who watches your first video, right? Your friends and your mom and your grandma. And I think they
Wait, don't forget, and your husband 10 times.
Your husband 10 times. And anyway, I think they were shocked that they thought I was going to be sitting in front of the camera talking about stew, or how to, make bread, or something silly, homemaking video like that. But I think they were surprised. They're like, no, there was different angles. Anyway, so I think for me, it's also an artistic outlet. And yeah, and I think where I'm going with this is that there's no better time to start something new than right away. And like I said, no one watches your first video. There's really nothing to fear. There's really nothing to fear when starting something new. No one's going to be really watching that closely. No one's expecting anything from you. I think we expect so much more of ourselves than the world actually expects of us. And then we can surprise people. We can surprise people when we when we come out and say, this is what I had inside of me. This is what was inside of me. I have this to share, and we can surprise the world. We can surprise ourselves. We just never know unless we try something, right?
So can you go back and tell us, go back when you were a little girl and seeing different things that fascinated you, because you capture in your vlogging, it's soothing. So when I was thinking of this morning, I was like, okay, no, we're not having coffee. We're going to have a cup of tea, and I'm going to sit down and have a cup of tea with Jenilee. And it's so soothing how you were able to just draw your viewers into this space of serene peace. So go back and share with us how you were inspired throughout your years, because you didn't just wake up one day and become this, okay? This was woven into you throughout your life. So share with us some thoughts pertaining to that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, my whole mantra and the theme of what I'm doing and everything that drives me is restoring home, family, and spirit. And so I'm not just talking about remodeling of the fireplace, or which I do, and I'm not just talking about how to preserve your tomatoes, but it's as a whole. The home is a whole, and it has lots of moving pieces and moving parts. But the most important thing is how you feel in your home, the spirit of your home, and what you're creating there, and that has purpose. Okay. Going even back before I was born, home used to be a productive place. there was many things to do and many purposes. Everything you had in your home had a purpose. It wasn't just there to collect dust or look pretty. That butter churner was really churning butter. And, that biscuit cutter was really cutting biscuits. And Papa's boots were really muddy because he was working hard. And there was so much purpose. And I think in our culture today, we have so many conveniences. We don't need so many, we don't need all those things anymore. What we do collect does actually collect dust. We don't use all the things in our home anymore. And what is home for? We come home from, a 9-to-5 job and we watch Netflix. So I think for me, it's that bringing that purpose. I'm really drawn to my roots. I really feel connected to my ancestors, my forefathers. I've always been interested in what kind of cookies they made, what kind of bread, what kind of life they lived. I have a grandpa who's 90 years old. I like to know what his waffle recipe is. I want to know what kind of bread he's making. I want to know how what it was like when he was a little boy. I've really always been into that. So a lot of what I share on my channel is really, nodding to the grandparents and to history and bringing back that purpose of life, even though we don't need to live just like them, but we can have a purposeful home, right? So where that piece and the whole vibe of my video, getting back to that, like I said, I want to make people feel a certain way, and I want to bring them into my home in a sense, and share with them what that piece that I'm trying to create in my home and that feeling. And I think I was, none of our homes are perfect. Our parents aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. But I do have some memories of just getting in the car with my mom after school, and she would be listening to Enya and just really classical piano or just peaceful music. And every time I would come home from school, jump in the car with my mom or walk through that front door, all of the worries of school and life just melted away. And so I really, it's my life mission to create that kind of world for my family. And I think, we don't always remember everything that happened in our childhood, but we do remember the way we felt. I think we carry those things with us throughout our lives. And so anyway, maybe that's where that comes from, Shawn. Just that whole
That's good,
peaceful
because if you
vibe.
think of it, I'm going to grab something right here that I have over here. Dr. Carolyn Leaf. Let's see, how do you get this at the right angle? Oh, this way. Okay.
That looks good.
Think, learn, and succeed. Okay. So one of the things that she's a neurological think, learn, succeed. Wait. Okay. Think, learn, succeed. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Dr.
good.
Carolyn Leaf. She is a neuropsychologist. She has studied neuropsychology for 25 years in clinic and 15 years out of clinic. Genius, brilliant woman. She said that every single memory that is in our memory bank is encapsulated in a picture like a drop of rain, okay? And the memories inside of it, because it's encapsulated by an emotion. So you remember what had an emotional impact on you. Only what had an emotional impact on you. So that's why that sweetness, the fragrance of the sweetness, right, carried throughout your life, that you want to emanate, duplicate, and replicate throughout society for other people to have the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It makes perfect sense. I love that.
And so how, so share with me some of, whether it, no names please, whether it's negative Nancy's, or what are hindrances that you come up against that try to prohibit you from walking out what's already inside of you?
Oh gosh, Shawn, and it's not, I'm so grateful to say I don't really have a negative Nancy in my life, actually, but the opposition is real. It's there. And I've gone through, yeah, I struggle with that sometimes on a daily basis, that motivation, the inspiration, just those opposing thoughts that you get in your head. Like, who would want to watch your videos? Who wants to hear from you? What do you have to share? There's so many people doing the same thing. And here's the thing, whenever, gosh, especially when it comes to social media, or maybe even starting any business as it is, you can think, well, someone's done it before. There's thousands of millions of people out there that have this, the same idea or similar ideas. But I think one truth I always go back to is that there's nobody like you.
Right.
There's no one that is packaging this like you, and there's no one that can replicate you. So as long as you remain true to who you are and yourself, you're not replicating anybody. You can't replicate anyone. You are unique. And here's the thing, even if somebody showed you a recipe on YouTube, how to make sourdough bread, they're not going to do it the exact way that you did it, right? And another thing is someone's going to fall in love with who you are. You're really going to speak to somebody. They're going to love the way you package things and in your unique way and your personality and who you are, and they're going to love you. Okay. And no one else can do that. And so that's one thing that helps me push back that opposing thought of, well, there's a million people doing the same thing. All you have to do is figure out how to just be yourself. And that can be harder than it sounds, actually. There are times when, I'm definitely inspired. I have role models and women I look up to in the same industry, but I literally have to put on blinders sometimes.
That's right.
And I don't look at what's going on. And I haven't looked around on the internet for a while because I'm trying to really zone in on what I'm supposed to do. What is Jenilee supposed to do? What am I supposed to share? What kind of creativity and inspiration? Because sometimes we can see what other people are doing, and those are the only ideas that are flowing through your head is what they're doing. So you really have to put on those blinders and shut that out to stay in your own lane, right? And stay in your own path and be able to pave your own path, not someone else's path. Another thing I've found to be super challenging is change in general. We have gone through some big life changes recently. We started out in Wyoming. My channel started out in Wyoming. My first name was Wyoming Sage. Love that name. It was the beginning of
name.
I love that name. I know
it
has a huge sentiment for me. I feel like I've grown to a new phase where new direction, not a new direction completely, but I'm growing into, I think, what I was supposed to be. But we, so what I thought it was going to look like, and everything has changed. When you're making a channel on home and everything about home, and then your home changes, and we were in like a temporary living situation. We were actually living in a family cabin where there was family living in it half the time. And that was really challenging. And I actually have to say, I'm not a really depressed person, but I went through some deep valleys and I was depressed. And there were times in those really depressing times, I stopped creating. And I learned that despair kills creation. It kills creativity. And when you're sad, it's really hard to inspire other people. And so I struggled with some of those deep places and battled, but I learned some really important things. And one of those things was that I am at my happiest when I'm creating, and that this makes me really happy. I feel like it's kind of gone through the test. If I didn't want to be creating, if I didn't want to do this, I would have stopped a long time ago. I would have let it die in those low valleys that I found myself in. But I was eventually able to pick myself up, dust myself off. There was this really low point where I took our kids to Sing 2, that movie Sing 2.
Okay.
And Jared and I just felt really beaten up. Life took a turn We were living in our parents' cabin. He was doing a job he didn't think he would be doing. We thought we had made it, and that's the mistake. We thought we had made it in life. We thought we were going to be there for a long time, and it went like this. And gosh, it was so humbling. We were both sitting in scene 2 crying, just bawling our eyes out. We're like, what's wrong with us? But like the message at scene 2 it hit us, and we were just in this low point, and and it was one of those points where I realized it's like, no, I'm not going down like this, and I don't want to live my life always wondering what would have happened if I would have lived out my dream. I don't want to be one of those people that say, "Oh, I wonder what would have happened to that channel if I would have kept doing it," right? And I didn't want to be one of those people with regret. And I'm going to figure out what's going to happen, and I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm going to die trying. Um, no, I just wanted to live out that initial inspiration, and I didn't want to let it die. So I know that was a long roundabout way
No,
of
no, no,
explaining
no,
that.
no, no, no. This is important. This is
Yeah,
important for people to see the process.
it is. And like I said, despair and sadness, and we all go through those emotions. We go through really tough times. Life is really hard. Change happens. Disappointment kicks us in the butt. And we're humbled, and those times happen. And I think we really learn and see what we're made of, and we see what we really care about. And but like I said, it just I learned also that creativity, it makes me really happy. And once I started making those videos again, even if I wasn't in the perfect scenario, I wasn't in my own kitchen, I didn't like the lighting, a lot of scenarios I didn't like and wasn't familiar with, but I created anyway. It wasn't perfect, it was temporary, but it kind of pulled me through. I can say, my
Yeah.
channel, it kind of
Yeah.
saved me. It pulled me
Yeah.
out of some deep
Yeah.
places, and I
Yeah.
needed it, actually. So
Well,
I didn't really.
it's interesting because so the name associated with people like you and I is called creatives. There's a
Yeah.
name, creatives, right? So
Yes.
I was thinking one day, actually the thought it's like this scene dropped down in my house, right? Last week the scene was, huh, that's wild. And I had a pair of infrared goggles on. And the scene was, wow, coming to know the Lord is like getting a pair of infrared goggles because you can see things,
Mm.
right? You can see different
Yes.
things. And getting intimate with the voice of the Holy Spirit is turning the goggles on. And I was like, wow, Lord, intimate in a pure way, mentally intimate
Yes.
in a pure way. And so I was thinking of like creatives are, I don't like the word failure. Okay. I genuinely have learned to not like the word failure because when you're moving, think of this piece of art behind me. I only have one DNA brother, and he created this piece of art behind me. Okay, and it's very interactive. It is so like it's unbelievable, right? But if you look at this painting and then you look at the one at the top of my stairs, the one at the top of my stairs looks like somebody in preschool did it, and it was his art. And the difference in the 6 years, right?
Mm.
If my brother just said, "Oh, I guess I'm never going to be an artist," he would have stuck with the painting at the top of the stairs. But instead, he continued to try different mediums, right? And this is actually the size of a door frame. This canvas is wrapped around a door frame.
Wow.
And so creatives are artists that do things out loud. We are interactive artists, no different than somebody who paints, no different than somebody who does, knitting or woodwork or whatever. But creatives come to life when we are doing or in that zone or that lane
Mhm.
in how do we do this?
Mhm.
Right? And so this is what made you come to life. But can you take us a little deeper? Where do you draw your inner inspiration from?
That is such a good question and so deep. Um, let's see. My inner creation. I would say nature is one of them. When I look outside and I think, oh, look at that dragonfly, or when I see the frogs jump on the pond, or just how the wind blows the grass, I think, man, I got to get my camera out, and I start videoing there, right? So I think so for me, it's seeing the beauty and those little close up shots, and I think that definitely is the artistic eye in me that comes out, right? That says, oh, I gotta snap part of that, and so I'll put that in the beginning of my video, and then I would say the other creative part is much more practical. Like I said, I want to not only inspire, but also teach something. There's got to be something that someone's searching up on YouTube. There's definitely a practical side. Yeah, if you want to be found, then you have to have something on there that someone's actually trying to learn how to do. And so, it's usually something I'm interested in. Something I really want to learn how to do right now is learn how to make tallow soap and black charcoal soap, because I like to use really natural soaps, and I've come to really like charcoal soaps for my face. I have really sensitive skin, and so that's something I'm learning how to do right now. I'm learning how to make sourdough, so it's usually something I'm already doing. How can I make what I'm doing inspiring and also teach someone how to do it at the same time? I had a huge harvest of tomatoes a neighbor gave me, and I needed to process those. So that was something that I shared. So I like to make it a mix. The beautiful scenery and surrounding here on our property, our farm that we've been blessed with, mixing that in with the practical side of things as well. So that's really where I think a lot of that inspiration comes from. But yeah, it's just, that's the beauty of having your own creative space, is whatever is on your heart, whatever you're feeling inspired, whatever is getting you excited. That's what I share. And that's the
Good.
freedom. That's the freedom of your own creative space. You can do that,
That's
you know?
good. So
So yeah.
I want you to think from a teacher angle for a second, okay? And you have a room full of people, okay? And you're looking around the room and you want to, how do you help them to begin what's already inside of them?
Um, well, one thing you said that I really liked is you don't like the word failure.
Yes.
And I think getting beyond the point of fear and what will people think of me, it's already been done before. I mentioned that one. What if I fail? And getting beyond that point, I think if we could just get over our those the stumbling blocks that we put in front of ourselves, really. Um, if you could get someone to get over that and just jump in, then I think they would be amazed what they could do. One book I really loved was, I read Capital Gains by Chip Gaines. I really do like Chip and Joanna Gaines for a lot of
Yes.
reasons.
Oh gosh.
I do. I love their personalities. I love what they're doing. But I read his book, and gosh, I loved his philosophy on fear. He just doesn't believe in fear. He doesn't believe in failure. And I love how he looks at life. He says, so you fail, so what? Like, what did you learn? What did you learn through that? And there's no failure. There's just learning experiences.
That's right. That's right.
And you can look back. And so that's been huge. That's been huge for me, because I'm like, oh, I could have done better at that, or I really didn't follow through with that, or, but what did you learn by that? And I think if we can just look, if we could look at life through that lens of, not, well, what if I fail, or what could happen, but what can I learn through this? And let's see what happens. Then you could really free yourself. You could free yourself and see what kind of creativity takes over, or where those paths lead. That's been a huge driving force for our family lately. That's why we're here. We picked up and we moved to Missouri. That is crazy. Okay. We did something that was completely mad. Like normal people wouldn't do this. This is so weird. Okay. And it started out with an inkling. It started out with a little dream and of having land and having a lifestyle. And like I said, when things keep coming back to your mind, that it means something, and you need to tune in to what that is. And obviously, whatever you want to call it, you're not dropping that, and that must mean something, unless you choose to ignore it, which you can. We chose not to ignore it. And like I said, just that philosophy of, I'd rather see what happens. I'd rather do it and find out than to look back and go, I wonder what would have happened if we would have followed our dream to Missouri. So that's what I would share with my students. Why don't you find out? Why don't you try it and find out what happens? Because there's really no failure. So what? So you decide that you don't like it down the road, that's not working for you. Cool. You checked it off the box. So what? Try something else. There's really no failure. Just as long as you're fulfilling the steps, you're progressing, you're growing. That's really the point, right?
Yeah, that's really good. And as you were speaking, a visual came to me, and and I was like, okay, so what exactly am I seeing right now? And it was like a display case with different Christmas ornaments on it. Okay, and different as in ornaments. I don't want to say Christmas ornaments. An ornamental case is what I saw. Okay, and with the case is like, what are you drawn to? Okay, so whatever, because everybody's, a phrase came to me in 2018, and it was, if we're created in the image of the Creator, we're created to be creative. Therefore, we have a creative desire to want to create. Okay, I'm going to say it again. If we're created in the image of the Creator, we're created to be creative. Therefore, we have a creative desire to want to create. So with this ornamental case that's before me, whatever you're drawn to, that's your lane, right? And my daughter, one of my daughters, is engaged, and the man she is engaged to, he has a pastor's heart, right? A total pastor's heart. But it's not just inside of the walls of a CHURCH, right? Everybody comes to him for counsel and wisdom, and they seek him out, and he has a shepherd's heart, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you're drawn to, that's your lane. So who are some people, you don't need to do names, but like throughout your lifetime that you saw somebody that was like, okay, so I think of in your lane, we have a common friend, Virginia.
Yes.
Music.
Absolutely.
She's a music teacher.
She's born to do it. It's in her.
Born to be a music teacher.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get her on set. Trust me, I'm gonna get her on set.
Do
And
it.
you're gonna be the reason she came on set with me too.
Yes. Go, Virginia.
Yeah, but just that, whatever you're drawn to. Not,
Yes.
I've contacted many people, and some people are like, no, Shawn, I really appreciate what you're doing, but I'm more behind the scenes, which is great. It's like wherever you're thriving the most, that's your lane. Whatever excites you, right? That's your lane. So what else would you like to share with our viewers today?
Well, I was thinking when you were saying that, what is my lane? And, it's definitely not like putting myself on social media and being like, hey, look at me, I'm going to make this. But you know what it is? It's my passion for homemaking,
Right. That's right.
and I kind of want to bulldoze a little bit, just the stigma on homemaking. And for some reason, the past couple generations, I want to say, homemaking is not cool. That is so boring. And it's kind of stuffy. And it's almost like they want to paint this woman that maybe is, that maybe is being oppressed or kept inside, maybe even being put there, not by her will, that this is something that she has to do. And I just want to revive the passion for homemaking that I grew up in a world where, as a woman, I can do anything. Okay. I can be anything. I could start a huge company. I could be an SEO. Okay. I can get the highest education. I can be anything. I know that. Okay. I feel the power. I've got the wheel. Okay. I want to be a homemaker. It fulfills me. I am stoked about making sourdough bread. I love painting that wall. I love creating this place. I love creating this place for my people. I love going out in my garden and saying, I'm going to grow, I'm going to try to grow as many vegetables as possible. And I'm going to try to, that stokes my fire. Okay. I'm excited about this home. I'm excited about the people in it. I'm passionate about it. And anyway, so I just want to light that fire under that homemaking, that this is okay. As a woman, I can actually choose this path and be proud of it. And there is nothing stuffy about it. I feel liberated. And it's actually, who's a huge part of that liberation? My husband. Okay. He makes my dreams a reality. And he does because he supports me, not only in an emotional, oh, he's so supportive way, but guys, who's putting the food on the table? That man, right? So I actually have never carried a huge financial responsibility in our home. Jared has taken that on because I was the one who said, honey, my passion is here at home with the kids. I don't want to go out and get a job. I want to be here with them. I want to be here when they're little. I want to live this creative dream, and he's had to take the forefront there. So huge props to him as a hubby, as a provider. He really does deserve all of the praise and respect. I appreciate him because he makes my dreams a reality. But anyways, coming back around, homemaking can be a beautiful thing. Not all we do in life has to have a dollar sign on it. And I think that's hard to understand because we all need to make money. We need to pay the bills. We need to provide for these little people. But anyway, it's what I've chosen to do. And actually, having a YouTube channel and maybe creating some different things, I'm hoping that my creative path can create maybe a business of my own. Maybe I can turn our little home or homestead that we're creating into something fruitful here at home as well. But that's a huge force.
So you have a beautiful voice, and
Thank you.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
I'm going to have you sing a song.
I knew you were going to do that, Shawn.
And
she's going to make.
No. I didn't know I was going to do it till this very moment.
Well, I did.
And I would like you to sing the song, "There is beauty all around when there's love at home."
Okay. Hopefully I can remember some of the lyrics to that. There is beauty all around when there's love at home. Peace and plenty here abide when there's love at home. You remember some of the other lyrics? No, I'm put on the spot.
Love at home.
Okay. Love at home, love at home. There is beauty all around when there's love at home.
Oh.
Thank you for letting me sing.
Amazing. That's amazing.
I don't think a lot of, yeah, go ahead.
And I would just like to add to what's been placed within us. I was one of those little girls who couldn't wait to grow up and become a mom. Honestly, I couldn't wait to grow up and become a mom. Nothing. And so, in the years of rearing my children, um, literally, there is not one moment of a memory where I said, "Oh my God, could you just give me a break from these kids?" I never said it because I was so excited to be a mom and I loved motherhood, and I only solely focused on motherhood until they were all out of the house. And in 2017 is when my life took a turn. 2018, I got to go on the field for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and but just sowing, and now not perfect. Now I tell my kids I only did two perfect things in life, only two. Okay, one, I said yes to Jesus when I was 16, and two, I would say to my children, talk to the Lord in the walls of your mind, because I wanted them to be able to know the sweetness of communicating with the Lord in their mind. Those are the only two perfect things I did, right? But as far as motherhood, I loved motherhood. Love, still love motherhood, right? But
Mm-hmm.
loved it. And so when I go into my children's homes, I'll do tidying or whatnot, right? Or if I think of as a career, we had to make extra money, right? So I cleaned houses. But is what I did in those homes was I would pray over all those homes, I'd pray over all the people, right? Just pray over them. So I was creating a peaceful home environment for them. And I didn't realize that till being on the set with you today. I didn't realize that at all until being
Yeah.
on the set with you today. That's
Cool.
what I was in the midst of doing, ushering in peace and
Mm-hmm.
creating that serene environment for all of those other people. And so that's what you're doing. You're taking the peace in your home, putting it on screen to extend that peace. So if we think of like a garden, right? Or if we think of a vineyard, your
Mm-hmm.
vineyard grows peace.
I hope so.
No, 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 no. You're receiving this. Your vineyard grows peace. Your vineyard extends love and calmness, right? And confidence. This is what your vineyard is growing, because when you are here, you know how it says, "Sow in the east, reap in the west." Okay, so you're sowing in the soil of love, and the harvest. You're not the Lord of the harvest; He is. But I guarantee you, oh gosh, that there are so many seeds coming from you, Jenilee, because you carry that like bursting out of you seeds. So it's not just the soil on your own farm. It's these soils are bursting. All the seeds are bursting all throughout wherever somebody clicks on a link. That's the love that someone encounters when they hear the tone of your voice. It is beautiful. You're going to have to sing another song.
Stop it.
No, I'm serious.
Thanks, Shawn. Yeah, sometimes I think we can get caught up in numbers and the monetary value of things, and it can be discouraging. It's like, well, what kind of a difference am I making? Not very many people are watching, especially in the beginning. If you start anything, the numbers are going to be small. But I had a friend tell me one time, she was saying, my daughter was watching you make biscuits, and she was making biscuits for dinner. And she just mentioned something about how she, just as a role model, that her daughter had somebody to watch. It made her feel good that her daughter had something wholesome to watch on YouTube. And I just thought, that's it. I'm done. If that one 16-year-old girl is the only person I needed to make biscuits for, I can go to, I'm at peace. I'm at rest. That's what it's for.
Mm.
Um, is is creating not only a place for people, but what about role models for our young women? as well. Or young men,
Mm-hmm.
giving them
Mm-hmm.
something to watch that's not baloney. Um,
Mm-hmm.
an actual woman
Mm-hmm.
who who is clothed and is
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
is delighting in simple things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just wanted to throw that in there as
So do you
well.
know what I see? I see you being taken into the homes of uh, corporate America. I see you uh, um, showing women in corporate America how to take one day a week and make it special. How do you make it special? How do you just one day? Don't try to overwhelm, but just one day. How do you take this one day and just make it perfect for you, right? How do you take this one meal and make it perfect?
Mhm.
Because if they're in corporate America and that's not possible to do it every day. And
No,
because it's two worlds apart, right? But how do you just take this one day? How do you how do you if that is okay, on this day you start the starter, right? Just let it
mhm,
ferment all week long, right? How do you
mhm,
like something simple, okay, and on this day marinate the meat,
mhm,
okay? On this day go purchase the herbs,
mhm.
or so how do you so that on this day you'll have or how what kind of prep can take place so that on this one day for this one moment you can
Yeah,
prepare something that you can be proud of, right? That you work to accomplish. But I see you um, being virtually hired for a very large dollar amount to go into the home of a woman, almost like you're going to be in the kitchen with a woman right there, live screen. Okay, let's do this together, and very large dollar amount. I'll share off screen.
okay, yeah, let's get back to that later.
Yeah,
What does that mean, right?
yeah, yeah. But because this is because and it's so good because I have a family member who's very creative. And so I've tried to encourage this creative family member. Why don't you start to write a book when you're driving to work? Start it by voicing it. Voice the book. Voice your ideals, right? Voice your thoughts on writing this book.
Such a good idea. Mhm,
Because there's so many different ways we can be creative. Um, I a couple of weeks ago we were invited to go to this broader community gathering, broader community gathering, and so I thought, shoot, I'm taking my seeds, and my seeds are my business card, right? So on my business card it says cultivating an atmosphere for the creative realm of the Creator to move, helping others to walk in one's God ordained skill sets. So I thought, I'm going to take my seeds, I'm going to go drop them. But my purpose was, I'm going to go get me some clients to interview.
mhm. Yeah.
And I actually interviewed somebody yesterday who just wrote a book. And had I not just been myself and my creative self, right?
Mhm,
And walking into an environment when you are the fullness of yourself, there is so much freedom because you
mhm,
just have to show up being you. That's
mhm,
it. And I can totally identify with you with the blinders.
mhm,
For some people, I've interviewed people who said, I've watched this and this and studied this and this and this. I can't. I
mhm.
personally can't. I have to stay right here, and just follow the little thoughts up here on. Now, of course, there's things you need to learn like Switcher Studio. Amazing,
Right.
amazing, amazing. There
So
are
many
different,
technical
yeah.
things.
There's technical things to learn that are exciting that help you with your skill set, right? But when you fine tune who you are, and it's not the and I'm not the I don't believe in that. Well, this is just how I am. I'm never going to change. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that for 1 second, because we are continually evolving as humans into, like, maybe we saw something over here and we saw this much of something over here. Well, now what we saw over here that looks like this now looks like this. Our
Big time.
broaden. Yeah.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
tell us, how has your even in just the seriousness, and that's what I want to call it, taking seriously, like a business executive, your home atmosphere, treating it like it's a business. Break that down on the importance of it, not just flimsy flopsy, but share with our viewers how you've taken it serious.
I love that you asked me this question, because yesterday I was just having a moment where, the floor is really dirty. I haven't showered yet. The place is crazy. The kids have Mondays off and we're all running around trying to do stuff. And I'm like, I feel like I'm constantly doing, but nothing is getting done. And I had this moment where I was like, girl, you are the boss. And here's my self-talk. I'm like, girl, you are the boss. This is your realm. I was like, no one's going to get this crap together. That's you. That's your job. so take a shower and get your crap together. It's time to take charge. Get your big girl panties on. Let's go, mom. Vacation is over. But I just had to give myself that business talk yesterday. But it really is a choice, man. It's a choice. Like I said, our homes, we don't have to be super productive in our homes if we don't want to. You can get a frozen pizza. You can you can turn on your robo vacuum. You can have someone complain, or you can just live in a complete mess. It's totally a choice, right? But we are the boss. We are the boss of our homes.
That's right.
We're the boss of our lives. We have a choice.
That's right.
That floor doesn't have to stay dirty. Have those kids get off the TV and take the dogs for a walk. You have a choice. And I think, gosh, life is made of little things. Life is made of simple things. Life is made of habits. And little habits make our life. They make us who we are. So in the morning, it's like, get up and make that bed. Get up and put that pretty throw pillow on that bed, and make that beautiful. Before you leave that bathroom sink, take a Lysol wipe and wipe that toothpaste off that counter, and put that curtain shut and pick up your husband's underwear, and, just little things like that, because guess what? It's not going to get done sometimes unless you do it. And especially I think with our children and rearing a home, no one is going to teach your kid how to put away their dish. No one's going to teach them how to brush their teeth in the morning. Who are you waiting for? No one's going to do it. They're not going to wake up knowing how to do these things. They're children. It's your job. This is so, sometimes it's so funny. I think we complain. I find myself complaining, well, why is this happening? Why? No one's helping. No one's doing this. And, I have to remind myself, put my big girl underwear on, like I said, and say, this is your job.
That's right.
No one's coming to teach them this. This is what you're here for. And do it. No one's going to teach your kid not to play video games all day. That's your job. Okay. Right. Your job is to teach them how to be productive and well-behaved people. Right. And what does it look like? It looks like a mess. I think life, it's messy. We are not perfect. My life is not perfect. What you put in front of a video camera is what you choose people to see. But at the same time, it's life is a mess, but it's made of simple, small things. And I think we just have to remember that. Just take it one step at a time, one day at a time. Not every meal is amazing. Sometimes you have to open a bottle of teriyaki sauce, pour it on the chicken and put it in the crock pot. That's fine. But you can create special moments. You can create special moments once a week, twice a week, just as long as you're putting forth some effort to show mama still got it. I'm still in the game. I still care.
Yes.
those moments. But
That's right.
I can't remember the original question you asked, but
No, you broke it down. You
yeah.
broke it down. No, you did. It was how you are the boss, basically, of your
Yeah.
home. So you broke it
Yeah.
down because it is a business. And so write that. Do you have a pen on you or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mm,
I got the name of a book for you.
it's coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The name of your book.
Okay. Yep. I'm ready.
It's gonna be called "Don't View Life, Create a Life."
Wait, am I writing this book?
You are. Don't view life, create a life.
Love it, Shawn.
Okay. So this is really important because, um, like when I was rearing my children, I knew that I was teaching them a work ethic. Okay. So
Hmm.
chores are not just chores, but chores are teaching your children a work ethic. So
Hmm.
I had a son, so they had their everyday chores, which consisted of 15 minutes. But then they had a weekly chore that was a little longer. So one of my sons took a half an hour or took an hour to clean a bathroom, whereas the other son could clean it in 20 minutes. But both had to clean it to the same standard. So, one thing I never allowed, nor did they ever say it, was you've heard the cliche terminology, it has to be your way or the highway, right?
Hmm.
No, they never said it because it was all about the end product. I knew that these children were going to go out into the workforce and they were going to have to submit themselves to the standard that whatever boss they were working for required.
Mm.
Okay. And so
Yes, you did.
another thing I learned, one of my mentors shared with me, you don't want to be a mom that says, Johnny, 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 Johnny. No, you tell Johnny this is what needs to be done. If Johnny doesn't do it, then the consequence is this. Johnny will learn real quick, like, if you don't do this, this happens. But
Mhm.
my mom taught me you always follow through with whatever this consequence was.
Yeah.
So if you were told you need to be home by this time and I wasn't, that meant a consequence. And my mom followed through with those consequences. Or if she said you're grounded, you did not get ungrounded until that consequence was finished. And I remember one time, one of my children, the weekly chore was okay, Monday night, you go gather all the trash cans. I raised 5 kids and then eventually had 6 who adopted us. But
Mhm.
he was supposed to get the trash on a Monday night to make sure it was out, all the trash was out on the curbside so that Tuesday morning, and one thing that's really cool is when I go to sleep at night, Jenilee's childhood home is seen through my bedroom window. And every night when I go to sleep, I pray for Jenilee because I see the light to her childhood home. So back to the sun. So Tuesday morning comes along and he didn't do his chore. So it was the first and last time that child woke up at 4:30 to go do his chore so the trash could be out there on time. Only took once. It only took once. And so with it's no different in society. In society, you can't say, well, I really don't care how long if they say don't go the speed. No, you have to abide by the laws of the land. And so
Mhm.
if we would view parenting as we are literally responsible for rearing um, citizens, law abiding citizens in a community that you want to thrive, then, and take that serious, then you could handle who do you want to respond to? Do you want to respond to, no, I don't want him to say, Shawn, why did you cave?
Yeah. Hmm.
It makes it easier. And you see, and not creating little robots, chore robots, but the simple, let them be creative and have fun. We didn't want any of our kids to get jobs until they got out of high school. Some of
Hmm.
them just were driven by money and wanted to, right?
Hmm.
But just how do you just, It is. And now all of our children, our grown children, my oldest is 35 and my youngest is 26. Now they want us to come around. They want us to hang out with them.
And that is the coolest. See, that's the goal, right?
Yes.
That's the goal.
So I would like you to spend the last few moments here. I would like you to bestow a blessing upon all of our viewers.
Okay. My blessing to you is that you would live life without fear of the opposer, that you would walk out in the glory and the light of the Creator and who you were made to be. Stop letting the messages of the world and what they tell you you should be and what you should believe, and start living what you know is true inside of you. Turn back to your roots. Honor and respect those who deserve your love and your honor. They do. The most important and valuable work that you will ever do in your life is within the walls of your own home. You cannot fail. You cannot fail if you pour in all you have, all your being, all your time, all your love, every last drop of it. I know you're tired. We all are. Life is exhausting and we're stressed out, but give it your last drop. Give those little people, whoever is in your home, whether you're a mother of little children or not, give that home, whoever is in it, all the love that you have. It is the most valuable thing we have on earth. And then let that light shine, whatever light that is, whatever you feel that you're supposed to be, whatever message that is that you're supposed to share. Don't hide it under a bushel. Don't be afraid. Be courageous. And be that person. Let that light shine. And that's my blessing to you, that you would find joy in who that unique person is. And don't pay heed to what everyone else is doing. Stay true to the truth that's inside of you. And girl, live it.
That's it right there. And with that comes the dropping of the sword.
Slay it. Slay the day. Slay it.
That's it.
Slay it, not today.
That's another book. Slay the day. Slay the
Slay
day.
the day, girl.
You better write that down.
Not
Slay the day,
today.
girl. Write
Slay
it
the day,
down.
girl.
That's a book too. That's another
Okay,
book.
I'm writing a few books, guys. I'm gonna be writing a few books. Stay tuned.
2 books there. So with that said, I would just like to thank everybody for joining Sagionic 1027. Until our next episode, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon thee. Blessings. Bye.